morning, beautiful people. Today, I want to talk about Proverbs 31:26. It's Jan. Let's go ahead and get into it. This Bible verse came to me today, and Proverbs 31:26, it says, "She opens her mouth in wisdom, and teaching of kindness is on her tongue." I was sitting with this because I was on social media, and there's been a lot of discourse around the mom who was disciplining her child on live. She wasn't like, physically like hitting her or anything, but it's what she said. And so the daughter had an attitude and was talking back to her. And so she got with her. Okay, rightfully so. But it's again about how she said it. And you know the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So I guess this resulted in her um, page being like banished or something like that, I think. I'm not really sure the details. I just seen like some headshots. So don't quote me on any of this, like, or screenshots of, storylines of what they said happened. So again, don't quote me on this. I don't know if that's what exactly happened. But what I do know is I did watch the video snippet of what they said and how she talked to her daughter. So two things can be true at once, right? The daughter definitely had an attitude. So she did need to be disciplined in that moment. However, yes, the mom is supposed to discipline her daughter, but it is not what you say, it is how you say it. So I'll tie this back to Proverbs 31:26 because, most women talk about being a Proverbs 31 woman, but you can't skip over some things, right? I'm not saying this is applicable for this mom, but for anybody who may say, "Oh, this was right, that she had every right." She did, but it's not what she said. Again, it's how she said it. When you open your mouth in wisdom and teaching of kindness on your tongue, you speak from a place of the fruits of the spirit. What I seen was someone speaking from a place of flesh and authority, not fruits of the spirit. It wasn't gentle, it wasn't kind, it wasn't patient. And so that's what I seen. And this is not me judging that mom or anything by any means. This is just me speaking about in general how we as women who want to be Proverbs 31 women have an obligation and a duty to open our mouth in wisdom and teaching and kindness be on our tongue. And, you look at the fruits of the spirit, and this is why I always tie things back to the fruits of the spirit, because it tells us how to live our everyday lives and it's applicable to our everyday lives. And, this goes beyond parenting. This goes beyond relationships and talking to anyone, right? I made a video about Ecclesiastes one time, and I was just saying how it says there's a time for everything under the sun, right? And there's a time for talking, there's a time for listening. You know, obviously, this isn't, related to that scenario, but when we just think about what we say, how we say it, when to say it, and when not to say it, there's so many different ways that we can go about that. So, um, that's the one thing that I would say if you are someone who, is wanting to be a Proverbs 31 woman. And this is why I've been so committed to, not wanting to cuss anymore because it's not kind, it's not a gentle way of speaking. Like it's not speaking from a place of wisdom. What does this harsh language that I'm using, what exactly is that adding to a conversation? It's not adding anything. It's vulgar. It's, to me, unladylike. So that's why I'm committed to moving away from that. But if you are someone, again, is that wants to be that wants to be a Proverbs 31 woman, it's important for you to look at the entire thing, not just pick different pieces and talk about, oh, she was a businesswoman, she was this. She was also a woman who opened her mouth in wisdom and did it from a place of kindness. So that's what I would say to the discourse, essentially, is that it's not that she didn't have every obligation to discipline her child. But I think it's just the way that she did it. And, if we even look even deeper, right, and look at the Bible when it comes to this scenario, it says, train up a child in the way that they should go. Like, I question and I wonder if this child's attitude stems from, how this child is being talked to. Because most children model the behaviors of, an adult or someone that that raises them. They pick up those characteristics and those traits from somewhere most of the time. Now, granted, some children are just, they just gonna be what they gonna be. But most cases, they usually model that. And this is not me trying to tell her how to raise her child or anything. Please don't take it that way because I'm not a parent. But I just know when it comes to someone who is walking with God, I know that we have an obligation and a duty to model those fruits of the spirit on a regular basis. And that comes to how we speak to anyone, not just our kids, but just anyone in this world. We have an obligation to lead with the fruits of the spirit. So Proverbs 31:26, if you want to be that woman, study the entire thing and look at it as, there's more to it than just being a businesswoman. There's also opening your mouth in wisdom and doing it from a teaching and a kind place. That's all that I got for y'all today. I'll see y'all on the next video. Bye bye.